Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. This is the first podcast for counsellors that just don't align with the traditional approaches to business and that want to use their spiritual gifts, talents, and interests to create, you guessed it, a private practice with soul. So, look, leave it to me to provide you with everything you need, including strategies that you can use to increase your income, reduce your workload, and of course, increase inquiries and referrals to your beautiful soul-led private practice. I love it so much. If you haven't done it already, grab your journal, grab your pen, and let's begin. Welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm so pleased that you're here. So today I'm going to be sharing a personal story with you. But before I do that, let me just give you a quick update about everything that's been happening, because there's been a lot happening, and I know I have a few groups and a few pages and all of the things, and some people follow some things and not others, and some people open emails and some don't. So I just want to make sure you've got all the information. But I think one of the most important things that's happening is on Thursday next week, we actually are going to be having a Zoom Q&A with Joanna. Joanna is the CEO of PACFA, and that's an Australian membership body for those of you who aren't in Australia, but they're a membership body for counsellors, and they support counsellors with their work. And there's a lot happening here with the introduction of some national standards. So we haven't had this before, and it's, a little bit worrying, a little bit confusing, and it's just so nice that she's agreed to pop on, come and have a conversation. So the details for that are in the Counsellors Connect Australia group. So if you like, you're welcome to come along and join. You can ask questions yourself. It's not going to be me interviewing her or anything like that. It's an opportunity for you to come along and have some FaceTime with Joanna and ask her whatever question is on your mind. So I think we have her for about an hour. And there is a question thread where you can go and pop some questions. So that is, I think if you want to be part of history, like this is a really wonderful opportunity to do it and say, 10 years from now or 20 years from now that you were part of the conversation. I just think it's so important. In other news, this week, in my paid groups, so Private Practice 101 and in the Inner Circle and Marketing with Soul, we had some Facebook ads training for therapists, and it was delivered by Michelle, and it was so good. I really wasn't sure what, how it was going to go and whether it was going to be, what do I want to say? As counselors and as professionals, we've got all this other stuff we've got to consider, right? But the reason that I ask, in terms of ethics and what APRA will allow and what ACA or PACFA or whoever you're with will allow and all that kind of stuff, that's what I mean. So the reason that I asked Michelle to come is because she's an expert, and that's her area of expertise and specialisation, supporting people like us, market our private practices and our services and our programs and our retreats and all of our things. So, but I still wasn't sure how it was going to go. And guess what? It went really, 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 really well. And I've come away from that personally. And I was already kind of working on a little bit of a project. I really wanted to make like a movie ad. So I was so inspired after the conversation. I went away and I had lunch, and then I came back and I sat down in front of the computer for a few hours, and I just tinkered away making some graphics for an ad. And I've just gone and uploaded those. So I'm really excited. I'm just waiting for Facebook to approve them, and then they'll go out to the world and we'll see what happens. But it's just nice to feel like you're making a little bit of progress, and then, thanks to that big dopamine hit, that gave me the encouragement to go and make another one. So this morning I've made another ad using one of her strategies, and I wrote the copy for it as well. I wrote 2 lots of copy so I could do a split test, and I've put that copy in the Private Practice 101 group so the members can see it, but also so that Michelle can see it, because I'd love to see what she thinks and get some feedback too. So that's there. Now, if you are in the Private Practice 101 community, remember this training disappears tomorrow for you because we have a new guest speaker coming in. But if you're in the Private Practice Inner Circle, you have lifetime access to all of these trainings. So you don't have to worry about, quickly catching up or anything like that. So tomorrow we've got Mimi Ramsey coming in. Now, I asked Mimi to come in. I can't pull up Facebook because I've got all the notification sounds turned on. I don't know how to turn off the notification sounds. But anyway, I'll bring it up because I want to read you her actual thing. Oh no, I can do it on my phone. I'll bring it up on my phone because she sent it to me on Messenger. Where is she? Here. Yeah, so Mimi fascinates me because she's living in Bali, and I love that idea. I think I might have mentioned Bali last time. Like, I really wanted to go on a trip away. That's one of my big driving forces for working in the business. But she's already living in Bali, and I love the idea of people like going and living in other countries and doing their work and having that sort of laptop lifestyle. And I think it feels even more appealing at the moment because the weather we've had in Melbourne's been horrible. Well, I kind of like the cold, but yeah. Anywho, it's been super duper cold. So she's doing training tomorrow that's going to teach therapists how to. So therapists, by the way, psychologists, counselors, social workers, coaches, everybody in my world, how to use authenticity in order to create what she's calling magnetic messaging. So messaging that your clients will come to you as a result of. So it means that you can stop putting stuff out there and feeling like you're chasing down clients. Instead, it will allow clients to say, hey, I want to know more. I want to click this button, or I want to make an inquiry or something like that. So tomorrow, as part of her training, she's going to be speaking about like the importance and the role of authenticity for therapists when it comes to marketing the practice. And she's going to be providing you with some strategies to help you really elevate your branding so that it feels really genuine and really aligned. She's also going to give you some exercises, tools and techniques to help you create a message for your practice and for your marketing. And she's going to walk you through ways that you can start to build trust and loyalty by creating genuine connections. And I think this is so important with marketing our practices, because a lot of the time we see people just kind of throw up posts on their social media, but there's no effort to connect, and they don't feel genuine a lot of the time either. But yeah, so she's super excited to meet everyone. I'm super excited for her to come along. If you are joining us, it will be recorded, so bring along your notepad and pen and a drink and all of that, and roll up your sleeves and light your candle, and let's get let's get ready for some beautiful sort of deeper work. And I'm so excited about it. And yes, replay will be available. So if you're in the Private Practice 101 group, you'll have that available for a week, and then it will be stored permanently forever in the Inner Circle. So they're those things. And then there are some other celebrations that are happening as well. I celebrated, I'm not going to name names because I don't have permission. I didn't ask. I just thought I would share this. But somebody got the keys to her very first lease this week, which is very exciting. Graduating, as you like, from, she had this plan of how she wanted to run her practice. And she started off sort of working from home and just doing it around children and family and other commitments. And then it's just kind of been building and building and building. And then she was like, oh, I'm going to need a place. And now, anyway, she's got the keys to a place. So super, super happy for her. And there were 3 people in Private Practice 101 that are celebrating their first clients this week. So amazing. And somebody in the Inner Circle was sharing with me this week that they've just hired their first contractor. So much fun. There's so much stuff happening in our world, isn't there? Okay, so what did I want to talk to you about today? I want to talk to you about a retreat that I went on that changed everything. How a private practice retreat catapulted my success in my private practice. So, okay, the reason that I want to share this is because I know what it's like to think, should I go to a retreat or a workshop or whatever it is? Am I going to get value? Like, what am I going to be doing there? What's it like? So, because I thought that too before I went on one. So I thought I would just share my experience basically. So I hope that's okay. But it was super transformative. So yeah, where I was in my practice at the time, I had moved out of the bulk billing medical clinics. At this point, I've been working as a psychologist, and I've been working predominantly renting a room in these big bulk billing medical clinics. And as a result of some accounting error by the practice that I was working for or at, they had withheld $18,000 of pay that was due to me. It came about because Medicare and work cover and TAC and, when you do private work and stuff like that, the money doesn't always come in the day that you do the work, right? So money had been coming in after I'd been paid for that fortnight. So I was getting payment from the clinic every fortnight. They would just throw the money into my account, and I would just assume it was for every appointment that I'd had the preceding fortnight. It wasn't until my accountant started comparing my diary and asking me what the item numbers were for things and that we're able to discover I'd been short shrifted $18,000. So yeah, that's why I chose to not work at that practice anymore, and I just took it as a sign from the universe that it was my time to go out on my own. So I was completely unprepared for that because my whole experience pretty much had been, 20 years in bulk billing medical clinics as a psychologist, never having to market, didn't have a website, didn't have a business card, didn't need any of that. I would just turn up with my briefcase in the morning. There'd be loads of referrals in my in-tray. The calendar would be populated with appointments, all day long. I would just do my work and come home basically. So I was naive is what I'm trying to say. I had no idea what was going to be required even as a psychologist to market my practice when I didn't have access to free flowing referrals. I didn't know what I was in for. I honestly didn't. So what happened was I went and I rented a room at the Quest building in Frankston, and it felt very, I felt very proud of myself because the lobby in Quest was just gorgeous and the meeting room was just gorgeous. I mean, it was all like pretty much brand new at the time. It used to be called the Peninsula Centre, and then it had this big makeover. And so I felt like extremely proud of myself, and I was like, wow, I'm really doing it. And I signed this lease on this office. Now, the office itself was tiny, whiny. I think most of them are at the Quest building. I mean, so tiny. I think it was about as big as my bathroom or as big as my laundry. They're not big spaces. Not once you get a desk and 2 chairs and a table and stuff in there. Anywho, and they use those ghost chairs, those clear plastic chairs. They had to use those chairs to kind of make the space look bigger. And there was a lot of glass, but the glass, again, to make it look bigger. And the glass had the frosting on it and stuff like that. But anywho, I think from memory, and I don't quote me on this, but I think from memory, I had 24/7 access to the little office that I had, but I think I was paying about $1,200 a month for that. Yeah. And then there were like add-ons if you wanted add-ons like reception and stuff like that and phone and all of that. So it came to about $1,500 a month, I think. Anyway, so I'm there and I'm like so excited. It's like my first day in my new office. I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to get clients from? To be honest, a lot of the clients who'd been getting free counselling didn't want to suddenly pay for it. So I lost nearly all of my client base. And I lost a lot of my referral base because the doctors were used to me providing a free service. And now that I was going to have to charge money for it, they were upset. You're abandoning our patients, and our patients can't afford it, and you're mean and you're horrible. I copped all of that, right? I get it. And it was horrible to go through, but that's another story. But anyway, and my fee when I first started, as you know, was $15, which was ridiculous. So it was the bulk billing amount, which I think back then was $78 we got from Medicare, plus $15. So the clients had to pay $93 to come and see me, and they'll get $78 back. Do you think I could get a client? No. It was really hard. And so I struggled for a while. Like I was pushing. I realized, oh, yikes, I'm going to need a website. So again, I didn't know what to do, but I kind of just went on GoDaddy and I made a website. And then I didn't know where I was going to get referrals from. So I started Googling, where do you get referrals? And back then there wasn't a lot of help for private practice owners or psychologists or counselors or even social workers for all this kind of stuff. So I was like left to my own devices, just totally winging it. And anyway, this went on for a little while, and I was barely making ends meet. I think I'd been doing in the new sort of private practice for a matter of maybe months, and then all of a sudden it kind of took off. I don't remember what the impetus was, but all of a sudden it kind of took off, and people did start coming, and they were paying the $15. And my books got full. In fact, my books got so full that I had a phone on my desk, and the phone had a little red light on it. And I used to put the phone on silent when I was in session. But every time I was in a meeting, the phone would go off multiple times and light the room up like a disco with this bright red light. It was so distracting. I ended up putting like tape over the top of it, anything I could do to try and cover it, turn the phone upside down, all the things. But what was happening was there were other clients that wanted to speak to me, or they wanted to book a session or something like that. It was all going to voicemail, and then at the end of the day, I was so exhausted I wasn't returning any of the calls because it was so late at night and I wanted to go home. And then in the morning, I'd come in and I would want to, get set up and everything. But often clients would get there before me. I was never late, but some traffic, whatever. Sometimes I get there at if I started at 8, they'd get there at 7:30, 7:45, and then I'd turn up and see them waiting in reception. So it was I didn't know how to manage my time, because I would then feel pressured that there was a client who'd arrived early, and then I couldn't focus, and then and so it caused all this drama with me being slow with returning calls, and of course the same for emails, because I'm not going to be returning emails when I'm with a client. So there was all of that, right? So there was a whole lot of stuff that was happening, and it was making me feel like I didn't love what I was doing. Anyway, at the same time, there was still a lot of things that I needed to do for the business, and I would write a to-do list, and every day I'd be carrying the same core sort of tasks over to the next day. Right. So I had this whole bunch of stuff that was hanging over me that I knew I needed to do, like track my numbers, or, fill in my spreadsheet, or update my website with something, or do some more marketing for something. There were always things that I needed to do. But yeah, they were getting carried over, and that was causing pressure and everything. And then one day, a post went up in a Facebook group, and this lady was having a retreat, right? And it was going to be in Brisbane, and I think, how much did I pay for that? I think I paid, I don't know, again, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't much. I think I paid, I don't know, I'm going to say $1,997. I think that's how much it was. But that included accommodation. I had to fly up and fly back. But anyway, the advertisement for this was just really a Facebook post, I think. Again, I'm just going by memory, and it was a long time ago. It was 7 or 8 years ago. But I think it just sort of said, if you've got these things that are hanging over your head and you need to get them done, then you should, consider coming along to this. And we'll all be together for a few days and nights, and we're just going to not be distracted by clients or anything like that, and we're just going to try and get stuff done. So anyway, I was like, I can't afford that. I don't have that money. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But then I went away and I was really thinking about how much I was craving just having a day away from the practice so that I could work on the business, because I was at that stage, as you will probably go through if you haven't already. In private practice, you go through this stage of, there's no clients, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of clients and there's a lot of work, and then you're just so caught up in the business that you forget to create space, or you deprioritize the importance of creating space to work on it. So you're constantly playing catch up, and this is what I feel contributes a lot to the pressure that we all experience. So anyway, I was in that place. And the more I went away and thought about it, the more I thought I would like a break from the practice so that I can go and get this other stuff done. What got me skeptical about it was the cost initially, because I was like, it feels like it's way out of my budget. But there was a payment plan. So then I thought, okay, well, there is a payment plan. I can pay it off. And that made it feel a little bit more manageable and a little bit easier. The other thing too was the reason that I kind of hesitated before enrolling was because I thought to myself, everybody else is better than me. Everybody else is further along than me. Everybody else knows what they're doing. I don't. This is going to be embarrassing. They'll all find out that I'm no good at what I'm doing, like imposter syndrome stuff, So all of that was coming up for me. And so that really prevented me from, taking action on registering for the event for a long time. But ultimately, what motivated me to go and do it was this increasing awareness of something needs to change. I just knew something needs to change. I'd been mistaking being busy for being successful. There was no doubt I was busy, but I wanted a different type of success, right? My definition of success was now shifting. So anywho, I book, and then after I booked it, I just remember this sense of exhilaration, like I was actually doing something for myself, because up until that point, I'd never done anything like this for my private practice. I'd never needed to. And I'd never needed to, air quotes, support myself. It was all, everything was given to me in this bulk billing situation. But now I'm in my own little practice, I need help. And I'm acutely aware that I need help. And so after I enrolled and I pressed the enroll me sort of button, I did a happy dance. I just had this rush of excitement and this rush of energy about, I'm finally doing something for me. I know this is going to help. I really looked up to this person. I thought that, she was such an amazing leader, and I thought she was so knowledgeable and so confident herself, and she'd achieved so much. And I really wanted to have, time with her sort of beyond Facebook. So that was why I went, and all that imposter syndrome stuff just kind of disappeared once I'd pushed, book now. So anyway, a couple of months later, get on the plane, go up to Queensland. Really weird, never been to Queensland before. Where we went was kind of out in the bush. It was on a mountain, so it was very, very natural, lots of nice trees. It was lovely. It was a big property, and the property had a number of bedrooms, and then it had a big dining room. So we spent most of our time in the dining room, and then in breaks and stuff like that, we'd just go to our bedrooms, or we'd go out into the garden and do stuff. There were all up, there was 5 of us that went. And it was nice to meet people in real life, because I knew a couple of the names from Facebook, and a couple of the others I didn't. And I did feel really kind of nervous when I was there, because, it's tough for me to be around people, full stop, but this was kind of manageable because it was small enough. But yeah, so it was interesting. So we had workshops and presentations, and you know what, it was just kind of like big co-working session, and it was really lovely because it was casual, it wasn't really formal. And there were some really beautiful, moments that I had with some of the people there as well, and stayed friends with people for a while after that. It was really nice keeping in touch. So I guess some of the key insights and lessons that I got from that was I came away from it having, new knowledge about things. Like, I didn't know my own blind spots. And it's something that I share with you too. Like, you probably don't, well, you wouldn't know your own blind spots. But there were certainly gaps in how I was delivering my service that I was unaware of. And by having other people there to show me what those gaps were and then help me plug them really made a big difference. In fact, while I was there, I took my laptop and I was doing everything on my laptop, but I also had a notebook, and I still have all the notes from my days there on my laptop. They're all in my Dropbox, and I still have my notebook, and I still refer to my notebook even today. Like, when I get stuck with something, I'll still go back to that notebook and see if it was something that we covered in that retreat. And so I also, when I was getting ready for our podcast today, I had that notebook out and I was having a look, and I'd written down so many action steps for myself from this retreat. It was just pages and pages of all these action steps. And so, I really realized there was a lot that I didn't know and that I needed to learn. And when I came back from the retreat, I blocked a day off in my diary, which I'd never done before and which normally would scare me. But I blocked a day off and I just sat down and oh, baby. Oh, bubby bub. Hang on 1 second. Sorry. Baby. Come on, darling. Come here. Good boy. Sorry, Gabe's just having a little cough. You're okay. Oh, good boy. Love you so much. There you go. Feel better? Yeah? Why don't you go and have a drink of water? No? Okay. So I worked through all of these action steps and I was just on fire. I was just like bang, 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 working through everything. And it felt amazing because it was progress that I was making that was actually shifting the needle in my business. And I can honestly say that within 30 days, I was noticing improvements in the business. Within 60 days, 90 days, within a year, I was able to reflect back and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe all of these changes. It was the best money that I spent on my practice. And, to this day, I will never forget it, as it was my starting point before I got coaches and before I got, business mentors and all that sort of stuff. That was the very first thing that I did. And, forever grateful because it changed the face of my business, and it just made business and life so much easier. And so I think too, because I had that really positive experience, any other time there was something that popped up on Instagram or Facebook about a retreat or a coach or a mentor, a business mentor or something like that, I was then more open and curious about, what can I learn from this person? What can I learn from that person? So it really shifted my belief and my understanding about the importance of investing in the business. And the fact too that it was a tax write-off was so wonderful because I was able to claim that cost as a deduction, including my flight and stuff like that. So it was just so good, and it just had such a profound impact on my business mindset as well, because I know a lot of the time it doesn't really sound like it, but I was where some of you are at the moment. I was in the therapy mindset. I was in the mindset of, oh my gosh, don't charge that fee, or, waive the cancellation, or, you've got to be available to everyone all the time for all the things. That was my mentality back then because I was unaware. I was just naive. So yeah, so much shifted and just had a big impact on my mindset. So, following the retreat, there were things I did. I updated my website. I created a marketing plan. I created a quarterly marketing plan. I created a spreadsheet to track how everything was going with my marketing. I started learning how to qualify referrals. I started learning how to track referrals. I started learning the strategies to increase my referrals and implement those. And do you know what? That's just a quick example off the top of my head, but it really helped me go beyond in terms of I was able to then make more informed decisions for what I wanted in my private practice, because before I went on that retreat, I was just saying yes to everything. Like, I was the yes girl. I was saying, yes, I'll write for your magazine. Yes, I'll write for your blog. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll present at your networking meeting. I was saying yes to all of the things, not realizing that none of the things were actually resulting in anything important or significant or helpful for the practice. So, I learned what I needed to let go of. I learned what I needed to replace those things with. So it made big shifts for decision making and strategic planning for the business that I still use today. While I was at that retreat as well, I learned so much that I then brought back and I used to inform, as I mentioned, quarterly planning, but also objectives and goal settings and things like that. So, one of the things that I wanted to do, given everything that's happening at the moment in our counselling community with the introduction of national standards and all this kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Oh, sorry, just total sidebar here. I'm looking out my window and there's like 4 kookaburras and they're all like putting their faces right down into the ground. Their whole beaks go stabbing into the ground and they're bringing up worms. And they're all just sitting there feasting on these worms right outside my window. They don't even care that I'm here, and they can see Gabe as well. They don't even care. They're just having like early lunch, late breakfast, having these worms they're making divots in the lawn. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. 2 of them have blue wings, and I think when they've got blue wings, that means they come from Darwin, which is so far away from me. And yeah, 2 of them are little baby ones. Oh, so cute. Anywho, it made me realize that, now might be a good idea to have a get together for counsellors and psychologists and social workers again. And so I'm having what's called Daylesford Retreat. Oh no, I called it Daylesford Delight. So because I love Daylesford so much, I have to be mindful of myself, right? Because I want to make sure I'm in the right energy and all those sorts of things. But also that means not being around too many people. So I'm only going to have 5 people come to my Daylesford Delight. Actually, I don't think I've said that on my marketing. So I will update my marketing today and just say it's just for 5 people. I'm sure everyone will understand. And yes, I can run more, but I think we'll just try and keep it at 5. Otherwise, it will just be too overwhelming for me. So, yeah. And I want to do something similar to that, but not the same. So, it's going to be just like a half-day workshop. We're just going to get together, and before you come along, you get to share with me when you first join a couple of the things that you want to work on. And then what I'll do is I'm going to create you your very own e-show bag, because I've got so many things that I can give you that will help you get from where you are now to where you want to be. So you get your own sort of customized e-show bag, and it's going to have the essential tools that you need to achieve the goals that you're setting for yourself in your practice. Plus, there'll be other things. So when we're there, you'll get some time one-on-one with me where you can have some laser coaching for anything that you want with your private practice. You can work on anything. You could work on your messaging. You could work on your copy for your website. You could do your branding if it's time for your branding to have a refresh, that is. You could work on your documentation if that's something you've been putting off. It doesn't really matter. If you have things that you know need to be done, but you just haven't had the time to do them yet, this is the time, okay? And Daylesford is a really beautiful location. It's 90 minutes out of Melbourne, but it's in spa country. So there is hot springs there. So we finish at 2:00. And so you'll have plenty of time to go and avail yourself of things like the hot springs, the thermal hot springs. You can go and have a dip. It's very relaxing. And you can do that because you'll have peace of mind because you've just come away having ticked things off your to-do list that you've been procrastinating or delaying or putting off because you just didn't really know how to do them. So you can go and have a dip in the thermal springs. There are plenty of places you can go and book a card reading if you like Oracle and Tarot, or you could go and book a massage or a mud wrap. You could go and get your hair done, your nails done. If you like crystals and new age things, there are plenty of shops around there that sell those kinds of things too. Daylesford is very much like a new agey kind of hippie area. You know, everything there is fresh, it's organic, the food is all local. It's really lovely. Now it is on, we're catching up on, it's next month, the end of next month. It's on the 25th of July, which is just looking for it now, July 25th is a Tuesday. So you might like to, if you want, you've got plenty of time to get up there by 10. So we start at 10, finish at 2. But if you wanted to, you could get up there the day before, or you could stay overnight and give yourself Wednesday off to sort of implement things quietly. And do you know what I mean? Before you go back to work. So there are ways that you could play with the time. But yeah, so it's Tuesday, the 25th of July, and just going to be really casual, really low key, but you're going to come away from it feeling like, oh, I'm so glad I got that done. Like, oh my gosh, I had no idea X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? You can use this time as well for putting together and getting help with not only your messaging, but putting together your own marketing plan. And I will help you with that, all of the things. So yeah, I think it's just a really beautiful space for us to come together and do it in. I'm really looking forward to getting to meet you because I know you know me, but I don't know you other than by your name in our groups and in our community and stuff like that. So I would love for you to come along, and it's really affordable too. I've kept the price down to $499, and there's split pay available, so you could pay 2 lots of $250, or you could pay 4 lots of $125. I think it is. Is that right? I can't remember. But yeah, but you can go and check out the link. I'll put the link for you in the show notes so that if you are interested, you can come along. If you wanted to pay in full, you would be able to, by June 30 this year, you could claim it back on this year's tax, which would be kind of nice. But you don't have to. It's just something I want you to be aware of. But other than that, I just can't wait. I think it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Anywho, enough from me. I'm so excited about it. But if you have questions about, what it involves and what we're going to do, as I said, I'll pop the link in so you can go and have a look. But you could also message me, okay? Don't email me because I don't read them, but do message me on Instagram. I'm at the Private Practice Coach, or on Facebook. Okay, so that was today's episode, and I hope it was super helpful. And by the way, don't forget, we've got Mimi Ramsey tomorrow teaching us about authenticity and creating genuine messaging for private practice so that we can connect with our Perfect for Our Practice clients. Come along to that. Only goes for an hour. It's from 10 till 11 Melbourne time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is @theprivatepracticecoach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.